Hello, I'm Tracy Grimshaw. Welcome to A Current Affair. First, the bitter neighbourhood dispute involving a high-profile real estate agent. His neighbours set up surveillance cameras to prevent vandalism, but captured a whole lot more. Dan Nolan has the story and joins me live. Dan?
Thanks, Tracy. We put a lot of trust in real estate agents to sell our houses or find a good tenant. So you'd also think that they'd generally be fairly trouble-free neighbours. Well, wait till you see what it's like living next door to Rocco.
He's the neighbour from hell, no doubt about it.
He says you're the neighbour from hell.
Oh, I'm the neighbour from hell?
Yeah.
I think he's the neighbour from hell.
You're a
Why?
You're a
Oh, it's like a jack-in-the-box. His face just keeps popping up every time I'm in the backyard.
Oh, he's got the camera out. Call Current Affairs.
You on camera climbing over your ladder calling him an F-wit.
So what?
Oh, so what?
What's the
Okay,
issue?
you're a real estate agent.
We've seen some neighbourhood disputes before, but never has one degenerated to this.
Who flicks dog poo, Rocco?
He's bent.
Who flicks dog poo?
His problem is that the camera never lies.
It all began in this quaint slice of suburbia when the owner of this terrace, a real estate agent, put in a development application. His neighbour, a cameraman, objected to it. That was 2.5 years ago, but ever since, things have become very nasty.
Rocco Ranieri is the real estate agent.
We've got an upstanding real estate agent here who's carrying on like the neighbour from hell.
Well, not the
If
neighbour
you
from
had a
hell.
tenant who was behaving
Well,
like
not the
that, you'd
neighbour
evict
from
them.
hell. No.
You would.
Lindsay Day is his neighbour.
I'm a cameraman, and if you're going to harass me, I'm going to film it. It's my only form of protection.
What am I, Rocco?
This is Lindsay's first run-in with Rocco, filmed 2 years ago.
Police will deal with you. You try and put up a monstrosity.
They're arguing about the development application.
I've trusted you guys. You lied to me about the DA.
We trusted you.
You lied to me about the DA. You said it was just the attic. You're just and on the
Pretty clear this won't be a happy neighbourhood.
Bring it on.
You stay away from it.
Come on, I can't wait for you to move in.
Lindsay's house was under renovation, but he couldn't explain certain things that were happening.
Firstly, my water wouldn't work, and I thought, this is strange. I realised my water meter was broken. Then I found rotten tomatoes thrown in the rear window of my house, and then I found boot polish smeared all over my car quite thickly over every window.
Rocco denies any knowledge of those incidents, but Lindsay decided his only option was to install surveillance cameras and keep his own camera close by at all times.
Hey, Lindsay, eh?
And that's when he caught
Talk
this.
to me.
Did you
What, because you did all this?
Did you
Why?
You're
That's not a nice way to treat me.
Did you
Rocco knows he's on camera, but still doesn't stop.
Oh, here we go. He's got the camera.
You're intimidating me.
Hey?
You're intimidating me.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
that's
are.
the way, Lindsay.
What are you doing trespassing?
Am I trespassing, am I?
You are. You're leaning onto my property.
Well, actually, it's
I'm asking you now, Rocco Ranieri, to stop trespassing from my
trespassing.
property.
Rocco not only ignores the request to leave him alone, but throws a few more insults.
Once always. Oh, he's got the camera out. Call Current Affairs.
Yeah, I'll set my camera up.
Lindsay Day is a freelance cameraman who works for all the TV networks, including Channel 9.
You
What am I?
You're a and you know you Yeah, wave.
On the surveillance cameras out the front, there's more waving from Rocco. Only this time, he's blatantly trespassing on Lindsay's property. He heads next door and gives the cameras the finger before ushering a child into his house, and then one final rude gesture before heading inside.
I saw the vision and just thought, this guy's a madman. It's not normal to do that.
Those cameras capture much worse than one-fingered salutes. But first, let's hear from Rocco Ranieri.
Rocco, my name's Dan Nolan from A Current Affair.
Yeah.
We just want to have a chat to you about some issues that have been happening in your street.
Right.
Rocco denies any knowledge of the various acts of vandalism to Lindsay's property.
What about this one?
No.
Footage of you trespassing on his property
No.
and giving him the finger.
No, it doesn't. What do you mean?
Yeah, it is.
No.
That's video of you.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
That's not me.
This is you.
The camera footage is very clear, but it's almost impossible to get Rocco to admit to anything.
Why would you do that to somebody?
Well, you're also missing the point.
He's your neighbour.
No, he's not my neighbour.
He is your neighbour.
No, he's not my neighbour.
He is your neighbour.
No, he's
he
not
says
my
you're the neighbour from hell.
Oh, I'm the neighbour from hell?
Yeah.
I think he's the neighbour from hell.
Rocco accuses Lindsay of assaulting him and his son with paint.
He says the
paint.
paint was an
Oh,
accident.
an accident, come on.
He had a can of
No, he
paint
didn't.
and
I
it
was
fell
there.
out of his hands.
I was there. Fell out of his hands.
Okay, that's what he says.
He threw the paint.
The thing Catherine wheeled all over me, covered me with paint. I never saw any paint on him. It dropped on the ground. Maybe some splashed on him.
Okay, has he been charged over it or
No,
gone
but
to
he's been
court?
spoken to.
Oh, he's been spoken to.
And we had the police
Rocco, I
out.
think if there was a bit more meat to that
Oh,
story
is that
you knew about
right?
it, he
Is
might have
that
been
right?
charged,
I
don't you think?
So. I don't think so.
Rocco is adamant that he's the victim, but it's hard work getting any
Your
details.
side of the story is there's one paint incident, but no more details on it.
No swearing to my wife, okay? Okay, verbalising me.
What does he say to your wife?
Oh, I'm not going to repeat it on camera.
Well, we've heard you say F-wit on camera, so is it worse than that?
It's disgusting.
He does, however, have one solution to this nasty dispute.
He's filmed you.
Fantastic.
He's filmed you being a really awful neighbour.
Oh, that's fantastic. Why doesn't he move if it's that awful? Why don't you go
Why
and speak
should
to
he
Tracy?
have to move?
Why don't you go and speak
Why
to
should
Tracy?
he have to move,
Why don't you go
Rocco?
and speak to Tracy on the other side?
Rocco, sorry, do you own that
What-
whole
what-
street?
no,
Why
no,
should he
what-
have to
no.
move?
Now that we know Rocco wants Lindsay to move out, let's go back to the surveillance vision. Council had ordered the security cameras be removed after a public complaint.
The aesthetics is what the council are worrying about, so I put up micro cameras. They don't cause any problems and they protect me.
With the cameras in place, he captured this. A female member of Rocco's house coming outside for a smoke, then bending down and picking up what looks like an ashtray before throwing something over the fence right into Lindsay's yard.
There'd be hundreds of cigarette butts. There'll be nothing for days and then a whole lot in one hit. An ashtray, broken ashtrays.
Of most concern are the butts that land in his children's play area. Lindsay filmed them when they were at their worst, with 5-year-old daughter Josie helping clean up.
What would you say to the people who are throwing these cigarette butts?
I wish you could stop.
Oh, my 1-year-old's had them in his mouth, stuck in his fingers just looking at them, and my daughter gets upset every time she sees them.
But as if that's not bad enough, then take a look at this. An unidentified male in Rocco's backyard uses a shovel to pick up what appears to be dog poo before throwing it into Lindsay's yard.
What did you think when you first saw this?
Oh, I just can't believe that someone would do such a thing. He's got a bin there, he could use that right next to him, but instead he's throwing everything over the fence.
Such behaviour would almost certainly get any tenant evicted. But that seems lost on a guy who is the owner of a real estate franchise in Parramatta.
What would you do if you had a tenant who was calling people F-wits and flicking dog poo over the yard? Who flicks dog poo, Rocco? Who flicks dog poo?
We couldn't get an answer to that one.
And he says you're the neighbour from hell, and from what we've seen on the video, it's not a bad description.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd know, would you?
Well, we're from a current affair. We see plenty of neighbours from hell.
Oh, good.
We've just never seen one who's a real estate agent before.
Never one to miss an opportunity, Rocco Ranieri tried to sell us one of his properties.
Good development potential, subject to council approval, of course. Good future capital growth.
Is there any dog poo in the backyard there?
I don't know. You're the
Might-
dog. You're
might
the
be able
dog
to get the
specialist.
shovel out and just flick
You're
it
the
over,
dog food
flick it over there to the neighbour. They probably wouldn't mind, would they?
All we want for this is him to stop. We don't necessarily want him to move. We don't have to talk to them. Just don't cop their poo.
It's gone way too far, hasn't it? And Lindsay Day says he's taken that video to police today. We'll keep you updated on any developments.